I'm talking about the posterior chain, and we want to make sure that we're getting it turned on for our athletes, because this is becoming more and more of an issue now that they don't know how to turn it on. And we're going to get into that a little bit more as we go through this. Okay? So the vast majority of you right now are sitting, right? The truth is we sit a lot, okay? As humans, we weren't designed to sit as much as we do. We were actually designed to be on our feet 8 to 10 hours a day without sitting. Okay? But we've flipped it on its head. We are sitting 8 to 10 to 12, maybe 14 hours a day, and our youth are doing it even at that same rate adults are doing it now. There's the big issue. They don't do it any different. So our lifestyle has changed our posture to that rounded, hunch-over position that Joe talked about this morning. Okay? It's not just because those muscles are tight. Those muscles are tight now because we sit so much as a society now. Okay? Along with sitting, so much of what we do, most of the things we do is on the front side of the body. Things like writing, working on screens, reading, texting, driving, playing video games, right? Now, we probably fit into most of those categories as adults. Our youth fit into every one of those categories every day, right? Right or wrong, that's their society we live in now, right? They could probably take away this one and this one a little bit, but those four right there, they're having to do that every day because of school and just getting to where they're going every day, and we're sitting them in that position all this time. So all this sitting is causing our posterior chain to switch off. It just turns off. It basically gets amnesia and forgets how to turn back on. How Joe talked about this morning, how frozen shoulder happens is because that muscle just turns off. It forgets how to work. Well, we're starting to see that in all aspects of the posterior chain. This causes our anterior chain muscles to become dominant and start compensating in ways they're not meant to compensate. Okay, they're doing things that they're trying to do things they weren't meant to do, which is actually causing more stress on the joints and soft tissues because we get an extreme imbalance now in the movements and activities we're making. Okay, so all this can lead to a whole lot of issues, can lead to a host of issues when it comes to movement, your posture, balance, performance, and then just your overall health. All right, so all these issues of that rounded posture does that, and this is just a picture. We'll get into a little bit more, okay? And Joe mentioned it this morning. The funny thing, me and Randy were just talking about this. None of our presenters knew what anybody else was presenting on, okay? And it's amazing how it's just funny that we look through the book, and about 4 or 5 of these all correlate together. Like, first one, we're seeing more and more players with upper cross syndrome. Guys, up a decade ago, 15 years ago, that was a senior citizen issue, period. It wasn't a teenager issue, and now it is a teenager issue to the extreme. I was going to say about 75% of the guys we have some version of that. Joe said it was 90-something% of the guys this morning he tests have some part of that now. Okay? So that's getting really bad. Or we get the lower cross syndrome, which he talked about, which is the thing. So basically what is happening when the muscles that are supposed to be strong, our deep neck flexors and our lowest traps and our serratus anterior, they're supposed to be strong but we sit in this rounded position, they get weak. And then when they get weak, our pecs get tight and our upper traps get tight, and now we can't move and function how we're supposed to. Same thing happens in our hips here. Our rectus spinator gets really tight. Our iliopsoas right here and hip flexors get really, really tight because we sit all day, and that makes our glutes really weak and our abdominals really weak. I don't think those are the two parts of our body, if we're trying to really produce power, that you want to be weak. You don't want weak glutes and weak abdominals, right? And then, or we see the combination of both in a lot of athletes, okay? And that's just a problem that we've been seeing. And if we're seeing these issues, there's no way we're getting that athlete to do the movements we need them to do to perform at a high level, because they just can't make the movements because the muscles are not allowing them to do that.